Tony Bennett sang in a key that Jason Aldean's song can't reach. CNN. One dreary Christmas Eve, singer Tony Bennett found himself alone and miserable in New York City's Gotham Hotel. His first marriage was crumbling. His 2 sons were at home with his soon-to-be ex-wife. It was 1965, and the arrival of 4 mop-haired British rock and rollers the year before on Ed Sullivan's show signaled the beginning of Beatlemania, and what seemed like the end of his jazz career. Bennett tried to sleep off his depression, but the sounds of a choir roused him from his bed. He padded to another room to turn off the TV before realizing that chorale music was coming from outside his hotel room. He opened the door to see a choir singing a joyous rendition of On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. Turns out the great Duke Ellington, jazz music's greatest composer, and another musician buddy had dispatched a choir to cheer up their pal. I realized, wow, what great friends, Bennett recalled later in an essay in the Toronto Star. To take the time out to think of someone else. Timing, in jazz as in life, is everything. Few knew that better than Bennett, the incomparable jazz titan who died last week at 96. He could recall that unexpected Christmas gift decades later because it came at the precise time that he needed cheering up. But there's also something about the timing of Bennett's passing that makes our loss cut a bit deeper. Bennett died the same week that country singer Jason Aldean found controversy with his hit song, Try That in a Small Town. The song, which celebrates what Aldean calls good old boys ready to grab their guns and go after those who carjack old ladies and rob liquor stores, is the most popular country song in the U.S. The song's video, which was filmed outside a Tennessee courthouse where a white mob once lynched a black man, has received more than 21 million YouTube views. One writer has called it the song of the summer for right-wing America. Others have had a different reaction. Critics say Aldean's video is full of racist innuendo and encourages white vigilante violence. Aldean has denied the song or video is racist, tweeting, "I have been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, and was subject to the comparison that I, direct quote, was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protests." These references are not only meritless, but dangerous. There is not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it, and there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage. The video was recently edited to remove images of violent confrontations during a Black Lives Matter protest. Civil rights activist Dick Gregory, singer Tony Bennett and civil rights leader Coretta Scott King talk backstage during the MLK Gala at the Atlanta Civic Center in Atlanta on January 13, 1982. Rick Diamond/Getty Images. But the best example for what's tone-deaf about Aldean's song and video hasn't come from pundits or politicians. It came from Bennett, in the stories of how he sang and lived. The many tributes to Bennett can also be read as a rebuke to the artistic sensibility that gave us Try That in a Small Town. Bennett sang and lived in a key that Aldean's song can't reach, because of 2 factors that grew out of the late singer's love for jazz. White jazz artists were anti-racists before the term was invented. Many of the tributes to Bennett mentioned his disdain for bigotry. He was demoted for bringing a black soldier home for Thanksgiving dinner during World War II, spoke of how he saw no things a human being should ever have to see while helping liberate a Nazi death camp, joined marches during the civil rights movement, and did extensive philanthropic work. What some of those tributes missed, though, is that Bennett's activism didn't occur in a vacuum. He had great role models. Many white jazz artists were anti-racists, long before the word was invented. Frank Sinatra, Bennett's musical mentor, recorded with and relentlessly championed black jazz artists like Ella Fitzgerald and Count Basie. When Sinatra once noticed singer Nat King Cole eating dinner in a hotel dressing room, he invited him to the main dining room, where black people were not allowed. Sinatra then warned the hotel's management that he would get the entire serving staff fired if they didn't integrate the dining hall. Jazz pianist Dave Brubeck led the first integrated band in the U.S. Army during World War II. He hired a black jazz bassist, Eugene Wright, and refused to play in segregated venues.